Morning, morning, everybody. Michelle is here on this Friday. What? It's Friday already? What you say? But anyway, I hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificently, and marvelous because I am. Yes, indeed. Um, Looking out and about in the neighborhood. You understood? And so, the kids, I see the kids were taking off and running because, like I say, I'm near a school. I mean, within walking distance of a school. And so the bus is so weird. But maybe they're going to another school. I'm not sure the ages because a bus will stop out here, a school bus, and pick up certain students. So maybe that's what it is. Certain students go to this school and then certain students get bused. And all that busing stuff, which will be revealed, later, way down in the future, when people start looking over, what happened to our society and to our planet, and when they're reviewing, the history per se, they're gonna ask so many questions about how things were done so illogically, and how communities were destroyed. The fabric of a community was destroyed because of uh, malicious intentions, from the powers that be, the so-called authority figures that all of us have in our communities, and how their descendants down the future, down their ancestral tree, whatever that is, are going to be feeling the effects adversely as well. So you can't hurt something and not believe that you can't cause pain in other places. So, and that's where that's how people are illogical in their thinking, because they figure, let's save these people, but not these people. Let's save those group of people, but not those group of people. And, you have these societies that are brutal, brutal, brutal towards women. Okay. And I told you, uh, uh, no woman, no cry. But it will always continue into the future and beyond, where that's interfered with as well. The procreation process. Instead of allowing biological women to be, to give birth. A lot of people just like going into labs and mixing up formulas and mixing up designer babies. All that's interference. It's going to all come back and haunt all of us, including the descendants of those responsible for that. They're going to have to contend with all of that and attempt to survive in the midst of all of that. And in most cases, they possibly will not. And so that's the damage that these so-called powers that be, they don't think about what can happen to their family. Okay? And then with everybody, and all of this mixing up, mixing with each other, there was a reason, and I'm just going to make this very clear. There was a reason why there were a dark race of people, a red, brown, white. There was a reason for that. Okay, those are the ingredients for a functioning society. Okay, if a functioning society only required one race, then it would be, that's illogical, by the way, because it wouldn't advance. The society would not advance. You need to have a array of different cultural styles, races, but so that's the dangers that we face, is the uncertainty. Of course, the uncertainty is definitely troubling, but at the same time, it can be the uncertainty can become certain if you ground yourself in reality and understand the forces of energy, understand cause and effect, and understand, just connect the dots. filling missing pieces, it'll allow you to accept the realities of what you consider uncertainties. Okay, we all know it's not good, but a lot of people will stay in denial about that. And that's, hey, to each his own, as they say, free will. But I think the main thing that we're going to reap so many devastating consequences is through our educational system and how that was manipulated and interfered with, destroying books and banning books and this and that and the other, and just causing, and the people who are doing that, they have kids. A lot of them had children when they would interfere with certain things, and they did not believe that it would affect their children. That's what I mean about illogical thinking and not being reasonable. So, again, I love self-education. I know a lot of what we are being told, unfortunately, is false information, and a lot of things, especially about our history, and some of the things about what we hold dear about our history. A lot of people get all excited about thinking that one country is better than another, that we are, so much more superior than everybody else. That's just bullshit. That's a bunch of garbage. Okay, because if that were true, we wouldn't be in war, constantly in war. Why would you, if you're so powerful and so supreme, and you why would you want to invade other people? Wouldn't you want to help them? But that's the illusion, though. They say they go into they invade countries and whatever. They claim that it's because they're assisting them and helping them. But is that true? And if you're honest with yourself, that's not true at all. The results prove otherwise. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a migration issue if we were helping these countries. Why would they leave if you were helping their country? Okay, why would they leave it? Okay, they come to America for a reason. That was intentional. Okay, that was intentional. They bring, to wipe out their resources via globalization, and have them coming over, but I think the intention was that they would die out or something. I don't know. A lot of people just don't understand the process of dying and the process of so-called unquote, which is not the correct term, but the process of rebirth. And I told you I'll explain more of that later. Meaning, they thought if they can wipe out people that they won't exist anymore. Okay, but the ones doing that are not realizing that they are causing themselves to be extinct. Okay, they're attempting to wipe out, especially if you're trying to wipe out people of color. You essentially are committing suicide on your own race. And so maybe 100 years, maybe even 200 years down the line, you can cause yourself to go extinct. Especially when you consider the fact that we're overpopulated with people, buildings. And then when someone says, that overpopulation is boring. Okay, so is it boring that the whole state of New York is sinking? That because of the interference and stuff like that. So hey, it's sinking. All right, that's boring to me. That the state of New York is sinking. Okay. The illogicalness of what people are saying to themselves. That tells me that they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and that's unfortunate. And that's what we have. And then when we have people that want to represent and stand and jump over people, knock people over, and attempt to pump their chest out and say, okay, I'm the representative here, blah, 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 and just rambling. I mean, it's garbage. It's garbage. Okay, so do everything in your power to self-educate yourself. As I said, I know you can go out in nature, but nature has been so disturbed and distorted that, You can consider this for yourself. If you have pictures of a certain, what do you call it, a skyline, more so of mountains or maybe trees where you were in that picture, go back to that location if you choose to, this and look at what may have changed, especially with the mountains. Certain mountains have definitely changed. They may have been higher, but then they're distorted. They're not the same. It's like pieces are missing. That's because of the underground drilling and taking out of resources there. Look at pictures if you have them. A lot of us don't anymore. Remember how we used to take pictures? We don't take pictures like that anymore. And even though we take pictures with our cell phone, the storing of that is going to be an issue, especially if you're storing it in the cloud, the so-called proverbial cloud. Okay, you need to consider other means of storing your material. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, see if you can remember places where you were and see what has changed about the landscape, what has changed about the environment. And you recognize that a lot of things are distorted or completely not there anymore, gone. Okay? So yes, it's unfortunate that our educational history was distorted, and now all you have out there is conspiracy theories. But you are responsible for weeding through it. I would listen, but make sure you're applying all of your sensing into that. Your logic, your reason, be rational about it, and ask yourself, okay, is this reproducible? Does this make sense to me? Blah blah. You got to do that. You have to if you choose to. Everything's free will. So again, self-education was a saving grace for me because of the way, and I just had to kind of go to the library, like I said before the internet per se. I'm thankful now. I'm just gonna be real honest. I'm thankful that I was able to purchase books online. It made it so easy because at a certain point, like I said, in the Black community where I grew up, that library that I was in walking distance had closed down, and then if I needed to get to a library, I would have had to take a public transportation, or drive. I could have drove. Yeah, I was driving. I started driving I don't know how old. I was pretty young, but I didn't have a car. But we were able to use our parents' vehicle. I could have drove there, but it was just so much easier. I mean, I'm just being honest. The luxuries of technology allowed. In other words, some forms of technology allow for convenience. The ease of something being convenient. Like I said, I ordered a lot of books, and when I started moving, I had to return them. I just returned them to the library, even though they didn't come from the library. I just took them back to the library and let the library sort of have them, because I couldn't travel with all of those books. So you're going to have to, the self-education is in my opinion, whether you are a graduate or in kindergarten, none. Self-education is a must, but hey, free will, choose it. It's a must. You can't just rely on what's in a book and say, okay, it's in the book, and so that's the end of it. You need to be able to cultivate and contemplate that in your thoughts and say, okay, what does all this mean to me, and how can I understand this better? And usually when I ask that kind of question, okay, something opens up to help me understand that and understand what that meant. And you need experiences. Okay? Hey, sometimes, like I said, you have to keep repeating. You need experiences in your life. You cannot just sit at a computer and read books. You cannot just sit at a computer and just read a book, or sit in your house and read a book. I mean, you got to have some experiences too to incorporate what you're learning or what you're taking in, okay? So that's going to be all for this morning right now on a Friday, y'all. Oh, man, I'm so happy it's Friday. You know why? Because it don't mean a goddamn thing. How about that? Anyway, peace and love. Trust me, I'll be back.